This podcast is part of the Shrimp Queen Network.
Visit facebook.com/Shrimp Queen Network to see more great podcasts.
Hear them.
Hear more great podcasts.
Good job.
Thanks for listening. Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the 10 for 10 podcast. I am your host today. This is me, Dan. Unfortunately, Jess won't be joining us. She's taking the holidays off, completely understandably. So I have two good friends of mine in the high-tech recording studio today. We have Julie from the Kodama Cast podcast.
Hi.
And do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Julie. I have a podcast with my friend Sasha. We talk about video games and stuff as well.
And where can we find that?
It's on YouTube, it's on Podbean, and soon to be on Spotify and iTunes. But
nice.
Yes.
Twitter or anything?
Twitter at Kodama Cast. Everything at Kodama Cast. Wrote everything.
Sick.
So.
And a resident weeaboo, JJ, who is also joining us. No, I'm just kidding. Both of these people, by the way, are very, very smart when it comes to video games. Definitely smarter than I am. So we're in good hands today. Definitely JJ.
Yeah.
It's because honestly, all I do is live and breathe video games. I'm kind of a dork, other than loser otherwise, but whatever.
Gamers rise up. All right. So today we are going to be reviewing. This is the first kind of repeat topic we've ever touched upon because this was an early episode that I did was the my top 10 games of 2017. But today we're each going to be reviewing our top 5 games of 2018. Now, 2018 was a pretty good year for gaming. Would you guys agree with me on that? It wasn't as good as 2017.
2017 was like really good.
Was like lightning in a bottle. We got Breath of the Wild that year. We got Horizon Zero Dawn that year. That was the release
of the Switch, so that was kind of an influx of Nintendo stuff. So yeah. They kind of set the new gold standard.
Super Mario Odyssey we got that year. We got Evil Within 2, Shadow of War.
Splatoon 2, if you count that.
We got ARMS. We got Knack 2. We got all those games.
Knack 2 Game of the Year 2017, hands down.
Oh
definitely. So today we're just going to be going over each of our own 5. We're going to do it in rounds where we just kind of go our number 5. We all say our number 5, say a little bit about it. Why is number 5? We're probably all going to have repeats because honestly, I was going to do my top 10. Then I realized I definitely didn't even play like 10 new games this year.
I wasn't even sure if I played 5. I was like
money and time. But the ones that I did play, I really, really enjoyed.
Honestly, I spent most of 2018 just finishing up 2017 games.
Yeah, like I finished like Horizon Zero Dawn this year.
I was like looking up dates. I was like, wait a minute, that was 2017.
Sadly, I just beat Persona 5 over this summer. And
isn't that like a crazy long game though?
Yeah, and
I have yet to play.
I love that game, and I highly suggest it. So
yeah,
I finished Horizon Zero Dawn this year. The Evil Within 2 this year. I finished a lot of old games, waiting for like kind of this year to really kick off.
Yeah,
and it did. It did, definitely did. I have actually, I don't know if you guys did this, I have a couple honorable mentions and then a dishonorable mention.
I have a dishonorable.
Yeah, so do you guys want to go over dishonorables, like the ones that you were excited for and then you either played it or you just heard it was absolute dog crap? Because I think we kind of agree on this one, maybe.
I have one. It's called it pains me to say it, but Fallout 76.
Yep, that was my dishonorable mention as well.
It hurts me so bad to have a Bethesda title as a dishonorable mention.
But yeah, that's my dishonorable mention. I was pretty hyped about this game. I think all of us were. When we first saw the reveal trailer, we were kind of all like messaging each other in a group chat, and we were all like, oh shit, I can't wait to play this and like nuke everybody else, and like we can build a fort together and all this crap. And then it just came out and it was not good at all.
Yeah, I'm happy I didn't pre-order it because usually I haven't pre-ordered anything since No Man's Sky.
I was about to say that. I unless I know that it's going to be good.
Except like
in fact, one of these on my list I didn't pre-order because I was like, I don't know if this is going to be good, and then it ended up being amazing.
Yeah. I'll admit I pre-ordered all the games on my list in some
I did
capacity,
not.
but I knew they were at least going to be mediocre at worst.
Yeah, and the only reason I pre-ordered a bunch of games this year is just because Amazon stopped doing their 20% discount.
Yes.
So I just kind of wanted to
Same.
hop on that real quick.
Even though I ended up deleting like half of them because...
Yeah, I mean, if the reviews
still.
came out that it wasn't good, I would just cancel the order.
Yeah.
You don't get charged till it ships.
Exactly.
And so my honorable mentions, I have Forza Horizon 4, which was really fun. I like a good racing game.
good.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Super Mario Party.
Yeah.
And just because I knew it was going to pop up on at least one of yours, I put Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just because I didn't want to definitely retread. If I could avoid retreading on one, then I would. And it was kind of tied with my number 5, so I was like, I'll just talk about my number 5.
Gotcha.
Right.
You guys got honorable mentions?
I don't want to say any because I don't want to spoil
Oh,
what's not and not on my
Okay.
list.
To be honest, all I have is a straight 5 list, so
all right,
put
so
in as much effort as you do.
we'll kick it off with number 5. I'll start with my number 5 pick of the year. Released March 27th, 2018. I have Far Cry 5. Some positives about it. It's has awesome FPS shooting mechanics. I think the studio behind this, I think it's Ubisoft, but it might also be like someone else within Ubisoft. They do a really nice, it's really responsive. It's almost as good as Bungie, but Bungie are still like kind of the king of like responsive first-person shooters. And I'm not a huge first-person shooter guy, but this was really one I was really looking forward to. I really appreciate the freedom that they give you in these games, like to approach missions, to approach events, like the outposts that they have. You can basically do it however you want. And that was really aided by their inclusion of NPC companions that you could kind of switch out to
All
customize.
I cared about was Cheeseburger.
the bear.
Yeah, it was my favorite ever.
Which,
So cute.
you know, that could kind of help you spec it for like if you want to go in guns blazing, you could have Cheeseburger the bear and Hunk, who has like a bazooka basically.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't touched the Far Cry since 3, but because honestly nothing tops the marijuana burning mission from that game with the
That game was
helicopter
awesome.
and dubstep. Yeah, it was great.
That was such a good game. But also like the companions can kind of be a bit of a hindrance because I think that they kind of made some parts a little too easy, and then that kind of dulled you so that when you were in missions where you couldn't have companions, it suddenly got way harder.
Sometimes
for
they
you.
would start attacking
Yeah,
and you did not want to attack.
exactly.
You'd be like sneaking and they'd be like, oh.
Yeah.
Totally. And there's like a plethora of nice, cool, exciting vehicles. There's like awesome planes, helicopters, trucks. It's really good for that. They completely did away with the capturing tower mechanic from all the other games where you have to like connect things at the top of a tower and that unlocks part of the map. In this one, it's just exploration unlocks parts of the map, and defeating outposts and stuff like that a lot better. What else? There's some pretty interesting boss fights, pretty creative. They're good at that. It's got a great setting. I really appreciated it being set in the U.S. With our wildlife, and I hadn't really seen that done in kind of a modern day setting of like Midwest or Western U.S.
Excited for the post-apocalyptic sequel.
I'll get to that in a sec. I thought the gun and gear upgrade system was good. It kind of motivates you to hunt and fish. Some negatives, though, why this is number 5, why it isn't higher. I thought the villains were pretty lacking. As you said, Far Cry 3 was pretty awesome, and I don't think that they've topped Voss from Far Cry 3 yet.
I mean, the main guy from Far Cry 4 was pretty decent, though.
He was all right, yeah. And also the fact that although you could customize your character, that meant there was really no protagonist, so you kind of felt disconnected from the story a little bit for me. I thought a really good driving part of Far Cry 3 and even Far Cry 4 was the main character. And in Far Cry 3, you felt really motivated to help your friends because you were all there. It's like your family and your friends.
You had set friends, you had a set girlfriend, you had a set name and a set personality.
A voice actor and everything. But in this one, it's just kind of like you're a person doing their job as a deputy.
Yep.
The ending was terrible. I don't know if you guys have played it. I'm not really going to spoil too much.
I heard.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I know the ending.
Yeah, I mean, as you can tell with the post-apocalyptic sequel, it just kind of negates really it makes you kind of feel like, oh, well, what the fuck was the point of me doing any of that if that's just going to happen at the end? And the DLC was kind of lacking, which
I heard the DLCs were pretty meh.
Yeah, this hasn't been a good year for DLC, in my opinion. So, I mean, do you guys have anything to play or say about Far Cry 5? I know Julie played it. JJ,
I didn't play enough of it for me to include it in my top 5. I don't know why. I just didn't get as into it as I expected to.
Didn't play it at all. I remember seeing trailers for it with another friend of mine. We're like, yeah, it looks interesting. Maybe when we get closer to it, it would look fun. But remember in the beginning, they were kind of advertising the multiplayer, but you don't really hear much about the multiplayer of it.
Yeah, I never played multiplayer with anybody.
Realize.
You could play multiplayer and there's like the story mode, I think.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you remember, but they had trailers for like mini trailers for each of the people that were in the same resistance fight.
Yeah, the companions. Yeah, they had
so like the
character
bartender
trailers.
girl and all that you could play as a multiplayer. The church, the priest. I don't know. I didn't play it. I wouldn't know.
NPCs that you ran into, like Nick Rye and everything.
Yeah,
the guy with the plane.
Exactly.
So that's my number 5. Who wants to go next? Shall we go in a circle?
All right. My number 5, you guys, I don't even know if you've heard of it. It literally came out like December 13th. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's called Gris, like Gris.
Saw you playing on it.
Yeah. So it's on.
I was busy playing Smash. You were playing
I was playing Gris. It's on PC and like Nintendo Switch. So I actually got it like on a whim. I saw it. It's just like follows this girl. It's like the main reason I like it is it's like really, really pretty, like the art style and the illustration, everything. It reminds me a lot of Journey.
Beautiful.
It's like kind of a pretty journey with this girl's. Except it has a little bit more mechanics than Journey did. And it was just really pretty. And it's about like a girl who's kind of fine. She's like dealing with a lot of different issues, I guess, like depression and like fear and stuff like that. And basically it's all watercolored and there's like no color in the beginning, but then you get more color as you go on. Anyway, it was
so it's like that Mickey Mouse game with the paintbrush.
No, it wasn't like that. But
it might be a dumb question, but what exactly kind of game is this? Like a platformer?
It's I think it's
puzzle.
It's more of a puzzle. It's less like platformy, like crazy, because I feel like a lot of the platformers I've played are like really complicated. Yeah, but it's less. It's more. It's less like you don't really die or anything, so it's not as it's not meant to be a painful experience to play it.
Not that
you know
it
what I
has to
mean?
be.
Because like Celeste and some of the other like platformers are like kind of they can be frustrating as you're playing, but it's kind of just a nice peaceful like breath of fresh air.
That's nice.
It was it was really pretty. I really liked it, and I was happy that I caught it before the end of the year.
Yeah. I have not heard of it, but it sounds really awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Sounds familiar. I've heard decent reviews about it. I haven't really seen anything about it, but
yeah, it was made by Nomada Studio. I'm not sure if it was like their first game or what, but they've been pretty excited with the reviews and everything of it so far. But
I love when developers like get really hype about reviews.
It's so adorable. They're like tweeting. They're like,
one of the developers of one of the games on my list has been a personal highlight of the gaming world this year.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I forgot to also mention another reason why I have Julie and JJ on is because kind of each of us stick to generally a different sector of video games. So I feel like it would be good variety for otherwise we'd all sit here because I usually stick with American kind of AAA titles really. JJ he does that, but also definitely more into the Eastern
stuff.
Eastern fighting games.
Yeah. And Julie definitely is a fan
I like
of
a lot of
indies.
indies. Yeah, I like indie games.
And I didn't want it to just be like boring, same painting with the same brush basically the whole time.
We didn't want to scrape the bottom of the barrel by saying that this Nintendo Switch release of Skyrim was the best thing in the year.
Every year.
This is not Todd Howard coming in here, but everybody should buy a new Skyrim copy for the Switch. Be sure to get it, and on your Alexa, and on your iWatch. Okay, this me, Bod Howard, leaving now. Goodbye.
Thanks, Todd Howard.
This is not Todd Howard, it's Bod Howard. Good day, sir.
Whatever works, man.
What the fuck did I just turn into? Oh, I just blacked out for a second. All right, JJ, what's your number 5?
Well, kind of going along with what you were saying, mine's not exactly a indie title, but it's probably something you haven't really heard much about. For my number 5, I picked Octopath Traveler.
Oh, shit,
Okay.
I heard really good things about that.
Yeah, honestly, I remember seeing the first trailer for it, and it just kind of stuck with me because it kind of reminded me, because I remember like one of the first games I picked up on a whim when I had my DS was Chrono Trigger, which I knew was kind of a classic, but once I got into it, it was just amazing. I loved it. And the thing I loved about Octopath Traveler was it was just kind of a callback to old classic Eastern JRPGs back on like, the retro days, like, I don't know, Chrono Trigger, like I mentioned, Secret of Mana.
Yeah.
So mainly that, and, being a Nintendo exclusive kind of helps a bit too, and, helping selling the Switch. But another big part of it was like, even though it was like pixelated, the way that they made the graphics, the sprites
were awesome,
amazing. So some of the best sprite art I've seen in a while, and this is kind of both a negative and a positive, I guess. Is it's very classic turn-based, pick your action kind of battle system, but after a while it kind of becomes repetitive, and especially when you're kind of just spamming the special systems that they kind of teach it.
Yeah.
It might seem kind of down, but I definitely liked the part where it had 8 different main characters. And
well, one thing that stops me from buying it was because I heard that it had cool characters, but that they didn't really interact with one another, and like there wasn't.
They
really
don't.
a
It was
story.
really disappointing.
Yeah,
that's why I actually had traded in the game for Smash.
Oh man, that's probably my biggest gripe with it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
because in RPGs, that's the thing that I love most about having a group,
the
like
relationships
in Mass Effect and Dragon Age was like 2 of my favorite.
I know I really shouldn't be using it as a comparison, but goddamn, Chrono Trigger is a really good. Chrono Trigger is just like, it kind of hits everything, and I'm not just trying to use this time to, kind of
talk about a game from the 90s.
Yes, but let me just say,
But let me just say this.
everybody was important to the story. They interacted with each other, and with Octopath Traveler, they don't have that because they don't interact with each other, except for like teeny bit moments randomly here and there. And, having different characters in your party for different people's parts of the story has no effect whatsoever. So that's kind of disappointing. But
you still liked it.
Oh yeah,
right? So.
I've loved it. But I think you guys can.
I really like
next game.
Guy and Gal
really
can
like
see why it's at number 5.
the art style in that. That was one of the things that really kind of brought my attention to it, was the kind of, it was like classic pixel, but it also seemed to have like Unreal Engine shadow mechanics on it, and like a lighting system. It was a really cool blend. I really like that about it. Do you have anything more to say about Octopath Traveler?
I'll stop right now before I start
Talking more about Chrono Trigger.
I'm sorry. Let me just say right now, sorry, I'm a bit less prepared than the other two because I literally made my list like half an hour ago. So
whatever, it's prepared enough.
Yeah, that's all you need is just 5 games.
All right, my number 4. We're on the round of number 4 now. This one felt like kind of a reward, honestly. My number 4, after putting so much time and effort into the series and having it let me down quite a good bit. Number 4 for me is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which came out October 5th, 2018.
Honestly, I forgot that came out.
But that game, I've played every major release in the Assassin's Creed series, and this is hands down my favorite game since Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 2 is probably still my favorite, but this one really kicked it in the ass. Origins was awesome last year, and that was definitely on my list for the top 10 games of 2017 for me. But this just really took all the great things about Origins and propelled them even further. So it really, really leaned into the RPG elements for great benefit to the story and gameplay. Having a character, having to choose your character in the first place, I thought was great. They've never really done that with Assassin's Creed. They kind of did it with Syndicate, but that was just switching back and forth between 2 existing characters.
It's kind of cool how, like, even if you don't pick the other character, they're still involved in some way.
They're not just
not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it, but let's just say that just because you didn't pick
Alexios
or Cassandra, they're like, they're like, oh, this person didn't happen. They mentioned that there's 2 pieces of DNA in the beginning for a reason. You'll find out as you play.
Yeah. Having like actual dialogue options in these games felt great. It felt more like I was controlling the character instead of just kind of vicariously playing as one character, playing as another character. It felt more like a direct connection to the historical part of the game. And also having, you could change your gear loadout. You can spec it to how you want to play. You can upgrade your character to however you want to upgrade it. You have to keep track of XP, all that kind of stuff. I thought the combat was great. They've really improved it in a lot of the old Assassin's Creed games. I don't know have you played any, Julie?
I only played a little bit of whichever one came out before Odyssey. So
Origins. So that was they already.
I played a little bit of that.
They already re-engineered the combat mechanics, but I know JJ will remember it used to literally be everybody would surround you and you would just counter and counter and counter and counter.
Okay.
This was honestly the first Assassin's Creed. First Assassin's Creed game I've played since Assassin's Creed 3, and I remember being so hyped for that one and then playing it, getting halfway, and I'm just like, damn, this is way overhyped.
Yeah, and with the story for this one, they've really increase the pacing. I mean, always in an Assassin's Creed game, kind of like with a Rockstar game, I go into expecting, I know this isn't really going to kick off until about 2-3 hours into the game because they have to establish a lot of mechanics and a lot of story. With this one, the pacing felt really good for it. But I remember Assassin's Creed 3 was kind of a watershed moment for a lot of people because they were just like, this is fucking ridiculous. I played the game for 6 hours and I still haven't even played as Connor yet because he plays his dad for the first 3 chapters of the game.
Yeah.
And
fun fact, they're actually giving away a remastered version of Assassin's Creed 3 with the season pass.
Oh yeah, I guess I have that because I have the season pass. Weird flex. The combat also is actually challenging now, and having to kind of decide your gear beforehand. You can kind of change it on the fly. Like if you think a character or an enemy is best kept at a distance, you can switch to a spear or like a long axe or something. But if you think your speed and health are good enough, you can take a sword and go in close with it.
The different weapons actually feel unique to each other instead of like Assassin's Creed 3, for example, where it's just like switching to the hidden blade or the sword doesn't really change much, you know, especially since you're just countering all day, every day.
I thought the story was really well written. I haven't actually beat the game still, but from what I've played, it's got a lot of twists and turns, and the characters feel fleshed out and realistic, which is really nice. I thought the open world was amazing looking. I thought it was gorgeous with the ancient Greece. Greece was a fantastic setting. That's a setting I've been wanting them to go to basically since the first game, because ancient Greece is one of like my favorite historical periods, and the mythology and the culture is very interesting to me. With and this world is populated with shit to do. Like the reason I haven't beaten it is because there's so much.
I didn't
everywhere.
I know I put in like a decent amount of hours and I didn't get far at all.
Yeah.
At all.
I feel like there's too much, and
that can I can touch on that later with another one of my choices, but I totally get what you mean. There's kind of a wall you hit sometimes with open world games where you're like, oh fuck, this is a lot. I don't think I can do this. Like that kind of stuff.
But
yeah.
I'm not sure if you're going to bring it up, but it also kind of brings a point of contention with Ubisoft and their, little microtransactions for speeding up XP, because I'll admit I felt like XP gain was so freaking slow in that game, and I'll honestly say I'm kind of in Dan's boat where I didn't beat it yet, and that's kind of one of the reasons is it's just like played like 5-10 different missions and I still haven't leveled up, and it was just like...
Yeah, I think they've also gone back and kind of changed that a little bit. I mean, they always retool.
Right.
And also, I really like the historical callbacks, like having the Spartans, the 300 Spartans, as the opening and playing as King Leonidas and all that good stuff. But some negatives, the voice acting, man, of specifically Alexios. I was genuinely shocked when he opened his mouth and started talking.
Really?
I was like, how the fuck was this person cast in this role?
Really?
I know Cassandra's really good.
I know everyone plays as Cassandra.
Yeah. it made me kind of want to go back and change because he sounds like a caricature. He's like, "Hello, I am Alexios. I will go over here and I will help you and I will definitely do this." And he's like, his joke. Oh my god, it takes you out of it. Like
very hammy. Very
hammy. Exactly. That's literally what I have written here is hammy voice acting. And a lot of the other characters are just fine, but I mean, having your main character sound like a fucking Muppet basically does take you out of it. Because all the other
I am Alexio
all the other like heroes have always sounded pretty cool in the series, even when they had like kind of South European accents, like Ezio. He had an Italian accent and he still sounded just fine. He sounded like a badass.
Ezio Auditore de Firenze.
Yeah, like, and also the parkour system, they've kind of dumbed down a little bit from the previous games, and I kind of preferred it in the other games. It felt more exciting when you were running through stuff, but they have definitely fixed a lot when it comes to accidentally jumping off of shit, so I can't complain there. But that's kind of why it's at my number 4.
Yep.
Plus my top 3, like some of the best games ever made, in my opinion. So, let's get into it. We'll get into it. All right, Julie, what's your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is Detroit Become Human.
Oh, wow.
Good choice.
It was released on May 25th by Quantic Dream.
Man, you people actually remember your release dates.
Well, I looked all
I wrote them down because I know I've listened and you usually have dates, so...
That's just me, though. Jess is like, yeah, this came out maybe in 1993. I don't know.
Well, I figure because it is about the year, too. So, like,
yeah.
This game was like, I don't know. It wasn't just the game that was really exciting to me. It was like the community as well that surrounded it that kind of made it a lot better for me. But it was just a lot of fun because it was choice-based and it's sci-fi. And all the different characters and, like, their stories were really, really fun to follow. And, Connor.
And you mentioned the community. It's like the first video game community I think I've ever seen that isn't toxic as fuck about anything.
Well,
like,
everything starts out
awesome.
Okay, and then over a period of time, it just kind of if any community becomes, that's a whole thing. If any community becomes too big, there's always going to be some.
To be honest, I didn't even know there was a big community behind that game.
I did just because I exist on the Tumblr verse, and it was very big there.
Connor, the character Connor,
I know everybody loves Connor.
Yeah, everybody loves Connor, and Brian Deckard, who's the actor for Connor, he kind of even popularized it more because he was super involved. He's still like I follow him on Twitter. Like he dresses up as Connor. Him and his wife Amelia, they're like awesome. She played I think it was the Tracy's in it, and they just like dress up and they started Twitch streaming the game and like doing different stories, and then it just like hyped it up even more. And it was fun.
I played a good portion of that. I kind of fell off the wagon with it though, just because I get like really nervous when I play those games where it's like so choice based.
Just real quick. It's Quantic Dream's games. That's the thing with their games. They're not games. They're an experience.
Oh, an experience. But I'm right. I just, anytime I wasn't playing as Connor, I was just like, okay, like Connor was like so much the strongest character
Connor.
to play as.
I loved all of them. He had like the
best mechanics in my opinion.
And
I've heard Connor's the best though.
Yeah.
There's a reason he plays him,
but also like Quantic Dream had like a huge scandal earlier in the year about like work. It was like work conditions and stuff like that, and like I think sexual harassment.
I don't know. They all
a lot of them.
It's rough out there.
That's what we're here for, though.
But I don't know what else was there about that game. Oh, it's just kind of fun with those games to like. I played it with my friend Sasha.
Sasha, who's that? Where can we find her?
Shout out Sasha. She's an artist. She's on my podcast, Kodama Cast. It's me and her. But
your podcast.
Also, she did the art for this.
Yeah, she
seriously
for 10 for 10.
Yeah,
podcast.
she did our awesome cover art. So yeah.
Anyway,
the art for Detroit Become Human. That it would definitely be a little bit, definitely a little bit biased towards it.
But yeah, we played it, and then we were just like looking up the different paths that we could have gotten, and it's just insane. Because we got a really good route, and just to look up all the bad things that could have happened is like crazy.
I really like
that's just really fun to me.
They showed you the tree afterwards.
I love when they do that, and it always
that.
shows like kind of what percentage you sided with, kind of with like the Walking Dead games and stuff, Telltale games, like how many people I know. how many people also chose that way or like didn't. It was just a lot of fun. It was a good time. A lot of cosplayers I saw at conventions. Mm-hmm. All Connor.
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, I feel like his is like kind of easy. It's like just a gray suit with like a blue patch on it.
It's just like a white guy with, suit on. But yeah.
It's also like kind of Blade Runner-y, which I appreciated quite a good bit. Yeah. A lot of similar elements.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially to Blade Runner 2049. I won't go into any spoiler territory for either, but you can draw a lot of parallels there, which is pretty nice. All right, JJ, what's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 is going to take my weebiness up to maximum overdrive. And I literally bought a pair of socks from this series earlier today. My number 4 choice is Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's Fighters, not Fighter Z. Okay. Honestly, it's one of the best fighting games I've played in a while. The art style, oh my god.
So what's the difference between Fighters and Fighter Z? Because I didn't really keep up with this.
What do you mean?
You said it's Dragon Ball FighterZ, not Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Oh, shit. I thought it was 2 different games.
No, everybody calls it Fighter Z because Dragon Ball Z and it's fighters. They were just
fighters with a Z.
They're just trying to be hip and cool.
Yeah, you were saying the art style looked fucking great. It looks like an actual anime.
Yeah, it's amazing. It looks like the actual anime. Arc Systems, forget their name, but they're really known for making these anime-esque fighting games, and I feel like this was kind of the top of the barrel, really, in terms of what they've done. And they even kind of went out of their way to do the Easter eggs in terms of like certain, like if you're playing as a certain character against another certain character, they'll try to imitate certain manga and anime scenes.
Moments.
So,
kind of like Injustice when they'll like reference shit that's happened in comics.
Yeah, so like you happen to be playing as Gohan and Android 16 is on your team against Cell, yada yada, go through that scene where freaking Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2. They have all that, and yeah, enough about that. But in terms of like actual fighting mechanics, it's one of those easy to learn, hard to master, because in reality it's one of those games you can just kind of button mash because they have those auto combos where if you just keep tapping square or X or whatever.
Even like chain moves.
Yeah, exactly. But, like you freaking see some of the like top like best fighting game players playing this game. So, it's not just like a kiddie game and all that. So, but yeah, since it's a fighting game, I won't dwell on it too much because, it's a fighting game. It's big in the competitive scene right now. It was even at this past Evo 2018, I believe.
Yeah, I guess it would be 2018.
Yeah, because Evo happens in the summer, I think. Please don't judge me for this because I can't remember. But, but yeah, like any fighting game, it has a story mode. It's a bit lacking, but in terms of like story modes, it's pretty good. I mean,
as long as it's better than like the old Mortal Kombat games. The new Mortal Kombat games are a lot better at their stories, but the old Mortal Kombat games would just be like, whoa, we are in the same place at the same time. Now we must fight. And they would just kill each other.
Story mode's kind of like, just kind of pulled out of their butt to introduce a few characters and kind of made it like very vague enough that it could fit into the timeline of the actual canon timeline or whatever. But then again, like you said, it's not Mortal Kombat level, but honestly, Injustice 2 still is one of the best fighting game story modes I've ever played. But
Injustice 2 was awesome. They really fucking pulled it out for that one. NetherRealm graced that. That was another from last year. 2017 was awesome for games.
Jeez.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you I played the shit out of Injustice 2. Oh god, too much dynamite. But yeah, that's enough about
Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
But
thank you.
Sorry.
Fighters.
Fighters.
Okay, number 3. We're getting into the fucking meat of it. This game came out on April 20th, 2018, 420. Blaze it, fam. It's God of War.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can I just start by saying this is my number 3 too?
Sure, yeah. If it's your number 3 as well,
it's on my list, but it's not number 3.
So we can kind of go back and forth.
It's my number
on this
3
one
as well, so yeah.
So this is JJ's and mine, both of our number 3s.
Just so we can kind of pick up the pace a bit.
So for mine, I mean, number 1 with a bullet, excellent narrative with great pacing and really good job of reimagining a previously one-dimensional, one-note character who was just kind of like this pot of rage, and that's all he really had. He had a tragic backstory, but like they really did. I think that whoever takes care of the fucking Duke Nukem games can learn a lot to this, because this game I kind of inherently compared it with Duke Nukem Forever because both of them tried to reinvent classic characters, and Duke Nukem just failed horribly while this did a fantastic job. And the execution's great, the voice acting's great, the mocap is excellent. Corey Balrog, who's the guy that I was talking about earlier, he's just been a great bastion of good in the gaming community recently.
God, his reaction to the reviews
positive,
being reviewed, he cried.
Oh, that's right.
It
I
made
forgot
me
about
cry.
that.
Yeah. He was just so
totally
genuine
forgot.
about it.
I
And like his
totally
dad
forgot.
was like tweeting
Yeah.
about it and how good it was.
That
and,
was
like,
adorable.
honestly,
that's like the best thing ever.
I have to say, he's probably if there was some kind of award for it, he's my game developer of the year 2018
Aw.
because.
I think he did win like direction or something.
But
like
even
that.
then, it's just like. Not to crap on EA, but it's pretty easy to crap on EA. They pretty much said that the single player game was dead. Corey Balrog was the one telling him, look, guys, they're not dead. And he single-handedly proved it with God of War. And Dan knows me well enough that, like, God, a good story to a game is pretty much my bread and butter.
Yeah,
It's
me
like the
too.
Yeah,
one
same.
thing.
That's
Me
like
too.
if the story isn't good enough, I'm
I
not
like
in it.
when I started God of War, like I literally could not put it down. Like it was when I know a game's good when I'm like at work or something. I'm just thinking of going home and playing it. That's kind of how I rate how good a game is to me.
But Dan's point of one note character is just kind of key because I can tell you, just to kind of get ready for it, I started playing the God of War games again.
They're really fun,
Yeah,
the old
they're
ones.
fun.
Like they have great
I want to play them.
combat. And the general story is still good. It's just his character's pretty.
But just warning you now, like it's more
not
like Curtis, like Ares, kill
Yeah.
everybody. But
And
Now
we're
it's
just
this
like,
one,
yeah,
it's
because
just like
2018 he has a son.
Yeah,
like,
and
God of War
that
fun.
like I
changes a
was
lot.
I was appalled by like how
A
different
boy,
it was.
I should say.
Boy.
He has a boy.
Boy.
Atreus.
When I mentioned this game previously, and I had to go back and edit it out of the episode, and I won't say exactly what Jess said here, but I mentioned Atreus, and she was like, "Oh yeah, don't you mean?" And then like said a
she
huge
spoiled
spoiler
it.
on the game, and I was
She
like,
spoiled it.
"Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back
my
and edit
gosh.
that." But I thought that the combat and gameplay felt great. I thought it controlled really well, specifically the his axe, like.
It was
I saw
so
this.
satisfying.
Yeah, just like every time he threw it and it
It was
came back,
so
it was like I
satisfying.
fucking feel like Captain America
in all
right now.
honesty, the combat system is a bit weird if you kind of looked at it from the outside, but it just worked because it had your stereotypical over the
Okay,
shoulder.
Bod Towered.
Hey man,
It just works.
that's not what I was aiming for. What I mean is just like anybody who's played Resident Evil 4, they're used to that style of
Resident Evil
third
4 is my
person
favorite game.
over
so.
the shoulder, but that's a shooter. They've never really tried it with a
melee combat.
melee focused. I mean, yeah, you can throw the axe, but not really a melee focused game. But as Bod Howard said, or whatever the heck,
It
his
just
name is,
works. You see
just
that
works
mountain?
and-
You can climb that. I thought, they controlled really well. The RPG, like kind of subtle RPG elements with the upgrades and the gear felt cool. Instead of like the old game where it was just you would fill it up with like blood meter or whatever and you just unlock new weapons. Like this, you had to upgrade, you had to kind of spec your characters or spec Kratos for magic. I think it was health and strength or something like that. It was like kind of three main things
it was, like
the
you said,
different
it was
outfits would change.
kind of subtle, but yeah, you had armor system and all that, but it wasn't like
And you could even control what Atreus was using and wearing as well.
Yeah.
pretty cool.
His arrows.
And that kind of allowed for gameplay freedom as well, which is nice. And you get different weapons throughout the game to switch out. It looks great. The art design was awesome.
Amazing.
The
I have the art
graphics
book.
were great.
I cry every time.
God, I
Oh
love
my
that
gosh.
game.
The creative approach to lore and mythology was awesome.
so good.
I really like the way that they reinvented the. I'm not like a huge Norse mythology is something I've not really looked into. I was never that interested in it. But when I was playing this, I was like, oh fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah, I never looked into it, and then I was like, I kind of
All I
wanted to
know about it
like
is,
buy
like,
a
Thor and
book.
Loki
I was like, I
and-
just wanted to read a book about it.
They've already heavily implied they're making a sequel for this game, but honestly, Brock was one of those characters that made the game for me.
Brock. The little guy, the troll.
He's one of the
Oh,
dwarves.
yeah,
He was the
the
blue. He was
dwarves.
the blue one.
Yeah.
There was even that
Oh
moment
my
where
gosh.
where Atreus just asked him why he's blue, and his dad's like, "You don't ask him why he's blue."
Also, I like the enemies are great.
Yeah,
with
the
different attack
Draugr.
tactics and
Yeah,
Like you would have to kind of switch up your style.
And they changed that even further in the new game plus, where on higher difficulties they changed. Corey Balrog even mentioned that they changed the entire fighting systems of each enemy as a new game plus even, so even the easy enemies had different tactics.
And I said Atreus is a fire NPC companion. Like
I love Atreus.
He never goes out, like he never is annoying. He follows your directions if you give them. He never just like starts fights without you doing it first. Mm-hmm. He's really useful in a fight. But yeah, and then also just the fights in this game can be really difficult, and the bosses were
the bosses
were so sick.
The first big fight. I remember everyone was like, oh, it's this kind of game, It was like insane.
Yeah, and the thing was, it does what Naughty Dog does.
It was insane. You kept thinking it was over, and it wasn't. It was like, but it was fun. It wasn't annoying.
It's been compared to Dragon Ball Z a lot.
Okay.
So. Yeah, that fight. Yeah, exactly. It's like a huge fist fight.
You'll see it when you see it.
It's just amazing.
Just awesome. Really good bosses.
The boat stories were great too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, those were so nice.
The controls, even with the boat and stuff, movement in the boat was not annoying. When the boat showed up, I was like, oh fuck, I don't have to deal with a goddamn weird ass vehicle that I'm gonna have to
But they made it satisfying.
Yeah, it's smooth. It goes exactly where you want it to go at the speed you want it to go. Yeah.
And then he continues them too. Yeah. If you park, if you get off somewhere, he'll continue when you get back on.
Where was I?
Which is amazing.
Honestly,
I love that.
I'd stay in boat until the story
Same, me
done.
too, but sometimes,
Hearing Kratos tell his version of the tortoise and the hare was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And even it has kind of an open world, it's a generally linear game, but it's still there was some awesome exploration in there, and it rewarded your exploration with points and all that good stuff. All right, Julie, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Monster Hunter World.
Oh man, I need to play that.
Yeah, I actually didn't start playing it till later, but I'm obsessed with it.
I had it.
It's so much fun.
You gave it to me, actually.
Yeah, because
Did you?
I spent an hour customizing my cat.
Going back
me too.
Going back to my number 4. Yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters and that game came out on the same day. Let's just say one kind of took over my life a bit more than the other.
Okay.
I've been meaning to get back to it, but yeah,
it's so once you get good at it, it becomes really addicting.
It's still on my list.
It's really addicting because I like having my own character that you kind of choose what type of weapon you'd want to use and everything, and you can kind of even your armor you can choose too.
But I didn't know
so
you
it's
played it.
Satisfying.
Hell, we should have. If you told me that you
I only
played
started
it, I would have
playing
gone.
Maybe a month ago, and now I can't stop.
Yeah,
you guys should
I'll
play.
Get it now. I'll
you guys should seriously play.
Hell, it's on sale. I'll pick it up.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, just give me a few days.
But just having constant boss battles, basically, it sounds awful to me.
But it's kind of Shadow of the Colossus.
But it's so much fun.
Awesome.
And you can help people out, or they can come help you out, and then you can
please don't compare it to Dark Souls.
No, I did not. No, not at all.
I'm Dark Souls of open world games.
If anything, Dark Souls is the Monster Hunter of Dark Souls games.
But yeah, I haven't been able to get into a kind of online multiplayer game like that in a while, so it's super refreshing and fun.
Fight a Rathalos yet?
Yes.
Why is that really difficult? I'm not that well versed.
Yeah, it's one of the most famous Monster Hunter monsters. Even though the whole thing with Monster Hunter games is that they have monsters that they advertise to sell the game because it's hell of a lot bigger.
Yeah,
in Japan,
you fight and then you basically have 3 deaths in a battle or else you lose it. Mm-hmm. But it counts for everyone. So if you fire a flare for people to come help you, if they die too, then it also takes away life.
Yeah.
So GTA Online, when you're doing story missions and stuff on there. Nice.
But Rathalos is the most famous and probably one of the most dangerous monsters in the series.
Yeah.
That's why it's in Smash for a reason.
Oh my God.
So it's kind of is that the giant dragon that comes down? Oh, I love that thing. That's the one that Donkey summoned 1,000 of in his.
Well, that's because
Smash
of that
video.
Isabelle glitch, but we'll talk more about it later.
I saw a little bit about that.
But we'll talk more about Smash when it arises. I don't want to.
When
it's really sorry if I kept interrupting it.
No,
Monster
you're fine.
Hunter's just
really
it's good.
A lot of fun.
Disappointed. I need to get back to it.
Yeah, I didn't get into it till later, and now once I did get into it, I really got into it. So it's all I want to play.
Any negatives, positives?
I mean, the story is kind of not the best.
It's like a very sandboxy kind of
like
game.
I kind of like just skip over the story for the most part. Like there's the things like the animations are sometimes really bad. Like when they talk, like the voice is like not lined up with their lips
is it because they did it in Japanese originally or something?
I don't even know. It's just not the best. But like the battles make up for it. So
tell you for sure that like I knew about the series for a while, and it's like it looks interesting. But I remember that they showed it at E3 or like 2017, and was just like, holy shit, this looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was like the first Monster Hunter game on a major, like an actual console in a while.
Since Monster Hunter 3 on the Wii.
Yeah, like all the other Monster Hunter games have come out for mobile systems, basically.
DS,
3DS, PSPs, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's what interested me in it as well, even though I'm not as into it as you guys are. All right, so number 2, my number 2, it came out October 26, 2018. Red Dead Redemption 2. Ooh. I imagine this is on your...
That's my number 2
You'll understand my number 1 when I get
That's my number 2 as well, Daniel.
That's my number 2.
Oh, okay. Red Dead is your number 2? All right.
We all have Red Dead as our number 2? All right, let's get into it, guys.
Honestly, I thought it would have been your number 1, but I guess...
I thought it was going to be your number 1, too. I'm a little shocked.
I understood you, because I know there's at least one game that I think you...
Then, since it's my number 2, I think our number 1s are probably the same, then, possibly.
No.
Okay.
No. I can already tell you it's no. It might be ours, but not yours.
Okay.
No, mine is... I won't tell you, but
all right,
we already talked about it, so...
So fuck it. I'll just go through mine, and if you guys have anything to add as well, feel free. So number 1, the world building.
Oh, I think I know what you're
is incredible. The atmosphere, music, graphics, detail.
Music's amazing.
The fact that the force balls shrivel and grow with the weather.
Rockstar. I mean, when Rockstar can like just go at a world like this, and I think something that kind of holds back their GTA games when it comes to building these worlds is that weird satirical humor they insist on injecting into GTA that kind of gets in the way of the world. So it becomes too much of a hyper realist, like hyper satirical. So it's not really that realistic. It's awesome. There's no, dumb radio ads like penises, balls, look at the balls, religion's stupid, life hacker, guess what that is? It's Facebook and Twitter. You guys are what if phones? Oh my god. Like there's none of that because there can't be because none of us lived in the Wild West. It has an amazing story, Rockstar's best story with their compelling lead, possibly their best lead. I think their 2 best leads are in the Red Dead games. I think John Marston is their other best lead.
The fun fact is that Rockstar San Diego is the one that made Red Dead 1, but the thing is Rockstar was considering it a passion project and was originally thinking of it as a net loss, but ended up being one of their best-selling games.
The original or this one?
The original.
Yeah.
And that's why Red Dead 2 ended up selling a lot faster than even GTA 5, I believe.
The only thing I'll say about the lead is I felt that they put a shit ton of work into this, but I thought they were going to kind of keep up the switching between characters that they had in GTA 5 because there's another character in this game that I was like, I want to see their story. I mean, John is in it, so I wouldn't mind playing as him in the major story. But Sadie Adler, I was like, fuck, I want to play as this lady. Like, she has an awesome motive. She is a great character. I feel like it would have been a really cool story to see her arc from homestead wife to outlaw, playing as her as well.
Honestly, I kind of wanted to see more of like Kieran's work with the O'Driscolls. I know that seems
you damn O'Driscoll. And that's like the biggest insult in Red Dead posting, which is a Facebook group, is if someone does anything bad, they get called an O'Driscoll immediately.
I see that on Twitter and stuff all the time. It's an O'Driscoll.
But I definitely like the lead. Arthur Morgan's probably one of my favorite main characterizations. And let me just start by saying I freaking love John Marston. But I'll be honest, and when it came to terms with the morality system, and the first one just felt so out of place because John Marston's personality was, I mean, it's a bit different in the second one since it's a prequel, but in that one,
he came off as a good person. Like, he's inherently good. He's working for the government. Like,
even
as
if
a
you
good
consider
person.
him an anti-hero, he's still like a good guy because he stays loyal to his wife and all that. But I felt Arthur Morgan was a lot more
blank slate. He's like a blank slate,
morally ambiguous. So it made more sense if you either went the nice guy route or the desperado route. So that made more sense in his case rather than John Marston being like, oh, I'm doing all this for my wife and son. And then he goes on a killing spree.
Yeah. And I was kind of worried when they first revealed Arthur Morgan. I was kind of just like, oh, okay, great. This is just a generic, muscly, burly white dude. Fantastic. Because I thought that John was a pretty interesting main character, even though he was this white dude. He was kind of ratty. He had a scar on his face. But I mean, Arthur is he's great. And he's performed very well. All of the performances in this game are extremely well done.
I love him so much.
He's not a traditional hero. Like, he does things that are questionable, and also he's not like gregarious. He's not outspoken. He's not an obvious leader. Like, it kind of, you see him grow more within the group, but like, he's very much, I'm a follower. I do what Dutch says because Dutch is our leader.
He
and
definitely
that kind of stuff.
fits his role and kind of accepts the role that he's the right hand man. And
yeah, but you see him grow.
I'm saying,
I don't want to spoil too much because I'm ahead of both
like I was saying,
guys in the
his
story,
character made more sense in terms of the morality system, even. As much you want to say about with the Red Dead series, it made more sense in Red Dead 2 with him as a character rather than John
I think you'll find this is Red Dead 3, actually, because Red Dead Revolver came out.
Dude, please don't.
I'm just fucking with you. I call it Red Dead 2 all the time. I'm pretty sure I already called it Red Dead 2 on the podcast. What else? There's lots to do in the world that really goes for, quote, realism. I know Nakey Jakey made a video talking about, like, kind of detracting at this game. And I respect him for that. I disagreed with him on a lot of points, but I saw validity in a lot of his complaints. But I felt like the realistic approach for a lot of areas was executed quite well. Especially in terms of, like, the mechanics at work and how to, you keep an eye on
the horse testicles.
Your ways.
Oh my God.
I thought you were going to say the horse bonding, and I was about to agree with you. And I was like, I've never felt more attached to any kind of vehicle in a game than I do to my horse. Because they really just, like, if it's dead, and it's gone, and that sucks for you. But also, like, having to eat semi-regularly, sleep.
Shape
later in the game, another
I just recently made him all bald.
Did you?
Later in the game, another element gets added onto that. I won't talk about it, but there's something else that you have to keep an eye on. I felt they could have done a better job with the what? We can talk a little later. I felt they should have the camp could have been done a little better. This has been pointed out.
I hate it.
It really doesn't matter if you upgrade. I mean, it helps, like, with having tonics and food and stuff, but, like, you can be a complete dickhead to everybody in the camp. You can never contribute, and it doesn't change anything.
And you have to walk through.
Yeah, walking through the camp is so annoying.
But it is pretty funny to see that if you were a dick to everybody, to have, like, John or even Lenny just kind of outright punch you and knock you.
But also, the relationships with a lot of the companions, except Micah. Fuck Micah.
Micah and those Micah.
But, like, Lenny,
Lenny.
The mission with Lenny early in the game, I was like, this is awesome.
Where you're drinking?
And you're just
That's,
going
like,
to the bar. It's not like a huge
ever.
shootout. It's nothing. But it's like, wow, this is a really good encapsulation of how it feels to be absolutely plastered at a party or a bar and just looking for your friend, and you seemingly cannot find them anywhere.
I loved that.
And just, like, bonding with all these characters, they're all really fleshed out within the group. Even characters who barely have that many, like, big missions revolving around them, you still can identify them and, like, kind of talk about their characterization. Like, Karen, who is only in a couple missions, you can talk to her and stuff, but, like, you can see she is kind of a drunk. She's gregarious. She's outspoken. She doesn't really go with like what's expected of women at the time. She's very, very headstrong, but she's a side character, and you barely talk to her in the main story.
Three-year-old Jack Marston is utterly adorable.
6. Is he 6?
Oh, he's 3.
Oh yeah, I guess he is 3.
Because he's 16 in the beginning of
No, then he would be 6, because this is 1899 and that game's in 1911. So wait, no, he would be like 4. Because
it's 1899, 1812
to 1911.
Yeah, so
The first one is
3 or 4.
Yeah, he's great. And just seeing but it's also seeing all these people interact with each other and knowing what's going to happen to a lot of them in the next game is pretty sad. And I thought that would make me not care about a lot of them, but it just made me care about them more. It's like, I know what's going to happen to Dutch, and I know what's going to happen to Bill Williamson and Javier and Jack and John and Abigail in the next game. So it adds a level of tragedy to all the characters. Wow, I'm not even halfway down my list. Okay. The weapon customization, outfits and gear customization, you can really just spec. God damn, I said spec so much. You can really customize Arthur to look exactly how you'd want to look in the Old West. You can make your guns look fucking poppin', gold plate everything, put pearl handle grips on everything, put leather on everything, change your horse and their tack and their services and whatever.
And chaps. Yeah. Assless chaps, but chaps.
All chaps are assless by definition.
Right. So many chaps and spurs.
The gameplay generally feels great, but it also, and this is kind of a plus to me, it kind of makes you play on Rockstar's terms. This isn't really a game, especially in the beginning, that you can just pick up and play for half an hour. It's kind of a game you have to really invest in. And it's oh, you want to go and do this? Now, fuck you. You're being attacked right now by weird zombie people. And just having the random encounters with people as well.
As you're riding and stuff.
That felt really organic and really well executed.
Hey, partner.
And even the blind guy who you can give money to, and when you do, he gives you tips about playing the game.
Does he?
But he says it really cryptically. That. Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere that if you killed him, you got a really good shotgun.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But
let's not.
I never killed him. I was honorable.
I tipped him, and he said something. Fuck. I think it has something to do with the honor system, about covering your face and how people He said it basically a weird haiku poem thing, but it's tips about playing the game, and also just finding you prisoners to release, and then they're oh yeah, I heard about this house in outside Valentine, and it's got a big gold reserve, and it's barely guarded or something like that.
Because of one of those home robberies, I ended up getting one of the better guns pretty early on, and it's one of my favorite weapons.
Yeah, and even I remember one distinct moment where I was just sort of riding, and I saw a guy whose face was covered in blood just run up to me and then collapse, and I was okay, that's kind of weird, and I kept going, and then I found this. It was at the middle of the night, and I found this house, and all of its lights were on the inside. I was okay, maybe this is some sort of story mission, and I went in. It wasn't a mission, but there was just a dead family in there. The whole place was filled with smoke, and I was this is really creepy. This nothing happened, but I was this is really atmospheric. This is crazy. There's a story here, and I kind of want to figure it out. And it's just those kinds of random things that would happen to you.
That's one of my favorite things about the game is that it kind of feels like the world is kind of
lived in.
It's lived in. It's going on without you, even if you're not really doing anything.
Yeah,
it's it's really cool.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a really good point. I love when games like that, when it's not everything revolves around the protagonist. And also I have that the online is generally okay. There are some improvements, and I'll get into those in my negatives. But as of right now, it's all right. So first negative, online economy sucks.
Still pissed I can't use gold to pay for my horse insurance.
Yeah, they really have a lot to do there.
Beans cost more than a gold ring.
The missions can get somewhat repetitive. There's a lot of go here, talk on the way, big shootout, run over here, shootout, leave, that kind of thing, which can get
what it is.
Annoying after a while. But then there are some really good standout missions as well, including one with a hot air balloon that you guys will get to do later. There you kind of hit a point, and I know Nakey Jakey mentioned this in his video. I've written this down before I even saw it, guys. I'm not copying. I'm definitely not copying. There's a point where you get kind of too powerful and rich really early on in the game. You get $2,000 in chapter 3 or something, and it's okay, I don't have to worry about money anymore. This is awesome.
Don't judge me. I actually did that gold bar glitch and got 15,000 early on.
Oh my god. Well, within the confines of the story, you get really rich really early on.
Yeah, kind of makes you feel...
I don't think I'm at that point yet, so...
And I said that the controls can be really dog shit, especially in confined spaces. I feel like when you're in buildings, like I feel like
it can be really like
I feel
clunky.
like I'm a weird rope. Yeah, exactly.
Because like you're trying to walk and it's like, oh god, and
you're just like bumping into shit.
I literally
like,
run into everything on the horse, everything.
Yeah,
started a fist fight with a
I
guy
think
by
they've
running.
changed
Which
it in
I've seen
updates
funny
now.
compilations of.
Because I've noticed my horse will swerve around trees sometimes if I'm heading towards it. At not too fast a speed, but I think they've gone in and done
Oh, it does
updates.
do that sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just.
I remember in
Straight
the beginning
into
of the
it.
game, one of my horses died because I just ran into a tree and I died. So
I remember, yeah.
Always carry horse survivor.
yeah. So those are my points on the game. Do you guys have any other additions to it?
Horse testicles. That's
Okay.
Oh
all.
my jeez.
Um,
Here he goes.
Julie, anything to add?
Um,
Because I feel like I spoke a lot. I'm sorry if I said a lot of your points.
they let you pet the dogs.
That's it. Not cats though.
Oh yeah.
Not yet.
That's important to
That's
me.
7 out of 10. Not enough cats. You can even examine the dogs and like see what breed they are and like, their temperament. That's pretty sick.
The horses poop in real time.
Oh, jeez.
I remember like the first time it was a really early mission in the game. It was still in like the snowy area, and I got off my horse and just pooped, and I was like, okay, I guess that happened.
Poop too, you know.
Yeah. The hunting's really fun.
Already hunted half the
Pretty well
legendary
done.
creatures.
Nice. The fishing is fishing. I don't really like fishing
I
in
honestly
games.
like the fishing. I like it.
Yeah. What else is there? I think that's it.
I was bringing up the soundtrack. I know you mentioned
Oh,
it, but
yeah.
the soundtrack's awesome.
Yeah, I remember doing some of the challenges, and some of them were really stupid. Like, one time I stole a train just so I could drive it and then shoot birds as I drove, because one of the challenges is to shoot 5 birds while on a moving train.
Oh, really? I didn't...
Yeah, it's one of the gunslinger challenges.
Oh, my goodness.
But also, I mean, you mentioned the community. I mean, the community around this, especially like the memes and like shit that I've seen and just videos of things that people have done in the world.
Microtransactions.
The microtransactions nickname, like that video of someone who's interrogating another guy in the game and he points his gun up in the air and fires it, and then just a pheasant falls right next to him because he shot it out of the air accidentally. Just like those kinds of little things, I felt like you can really just talk to your friends about like very unique experiences with
just the things that happen
that world.
because I saw a compilation like the other day of just weird things happening in the game, and like it was just someone, it was like, I don't know what mission it was, but like the one guy, I don't know who it was, he was like all right, be quiet or whatever, and then he's like, don't move yet, and then like a deer just rammed into Arthur and he just died. It was like,
Yeah, I've seen the one where he's like about to get the white Arabian, and then a moose just comes out of nowhere and just knocks. That happened to me. A goat just rammed me at one point, and I was like, "Oh, fuck you too, dude."
I just love all the random like events around the world, because like one of my favorites is probably one of the most recent ones, where I just kind of found these 2 guys near a safe, and Arthur just kind of walks up to him just like, hey, what you doing? They're telling me to walk away. I'm just like, all right. And I bother them again. They're about to pull a gun on me. I'm just like, all right, walk away. Then I hear an explosion, and both of them are dead with the safe open. So, you know, just by Arthur intervening a little bit, he distracted them long enough not to realize the
Like the guy
dynamite
who's like changing. This happened to me. Someone was changing their horse's shoe, and I greeted him, and he turned to look at me, and then just got fucking nailed by his horse, who kicked him, and he just went flying and died immediately. And Jess was watching at that point, and she laughed really hard. But also, do you guys greet or antagonize people? Where are you in the honor system?
I greet them.
Yeah, I
Hey,
go for like
buddy.
the full right side.
I love when he
Hey,
does
buddy.
that. He's just riding by
Hey,
and he's just
partner.
like, hey, partner.
every like third or
That's a nice horse.
because every like 3rd or 4th greet you get a teeny honor increase.
Yeah.
So I just spam it, especially
I
like
feel like
Saint Denis.
fucking Spider-Man and Spider-Man 3 just walking down the street just giving people
Yeah.
finger guns and dancing sometimes. Talking about that, let's go to my
Hiya,
number 1.
police officer. You look like you have a kind face.
Yeah, and that kind of shit. And people will compliment your
gosh.
horse if you got the white Arabian
Yeah,
or a good
that's
horse.
a nice horse.
So my number 1, it's got to be September 7th, 2018, Insomniac's Spider-Man game. Woo! This game,
Did
What is that face?
He's not impressed.
No, I'm kidding. I knew this was your number one.
I realized it after. I was like,
Yeah.
what is it? I was like, oh, okay.
Fuck yeah, it was well-made, detailed open world of Manhattan. It looks amazing in 4K HDR. The suits particularly look like real suits. I saw a screen cap. What?
Raimi suit.
Oh my god, the fucking Raimi suit. I saw a screen cap of someone playing the game and I was like, I genuinely couldn't figure out if it was from a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie or the game. It was the game. The villains, the side characters, the voice acting all come together amazingly. Peter Parker, it's an excellent story. Probably the best Spider-Man adaptation ever made. The story mode itself is just extremely well written, and it's just like a treat for Spider-Man fans. The reason that this is like kind of my number one and Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't, is for two main reasons. One, the story. I haven't finished the Red Dead story, but this one I know just fucking hit it out of the park. No video game has literally ever made me shed a tear before, but this game definitely did at the end. I won't spoil it because Julie hasn't finished it.
I know what you're talking about.
But it hit me hard when I beat this game. And Yuri Lowenthal, as JJ mentioned, as Peter Parker, his
voice is Marth from Fire Emblem.
And
really?
Sasuke in Naruto.
Wait, really?
Are you serious?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Oh, God.
How do I know that and you guys don't? But yeah, he, like, you can tell he's in that recording booth just giving it his all. I felt he should have won at the Video Game Awards for Best Performance. I know the guy who played Arthur won, but I felt Yuri, I think, deserved it.
Come on. Are you saying that your hair doesn't jump to its edges every time you hear, "Yeah, boy"?
You're all right, girl. No, he was just so good. And his relationship with MJ, his relationship with Miles and with Aunt May and Dr. Octavius, and just watching Dr. Octavius, it's like you know exactly what's going to happen. And it's just like there's nothing you can do about it. It's just like a serious tragedy just watching this guy turn into that. And also he didn't have any hair, which is kind of sad as well. The suit variety with individual powers and upgrades is awesome. This leads to challenging yet rewarding combat. Like, this Spider-Man feels like a real Spider-Man. It's like you got shot twice, you're down. If you get punched too much by a big person, you're down. It felt serious, like you had to be in the moment. The combat, if you try to go back to it, like, I'm kind of apprehensive to go back to the DLC because I feel like I'm just going to get my ass handed to me because I just won't have the same reaction times. I won't know all the good button presses, all the good timings for it. So that was a huge element that I really enjoyed. The controls are great. The swinging mechanics specifically are A+. They really make you feel like you're just like...
The swinging was so much fun.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Like, I just wanted to swing forever.
This is like the first open world game with a fast travel system that I barely used because I was just like, I'll just swing over there and the music will fucking kick in. But the music is also great in this.
But the fast travel is pretty funny though because you see like different people's reactions of him being on the subway train.
And it's just like the little details are just so good in this game. The fact that you can go talk to people and like compliment and give finger guns and take selfies. And it's just fuck. And the other reason that this beat Red Dead for me is we mentioned the wall that you kind of hit with open world games sometimes, and I just never felt that with this game. I was always like motivated to just keep going, keep doing missions, swing around. If I can't get to a story mission or I don't want to go, there's fucking crimes to do. There's good collectibles to find that felt rewarding for finding them. Just a lot of great things. The only negative is the Mary Jane and Miles missions with the kind of forced stealth that I thought wasn't that well implemented. But even that, I know that they're going to make a sequel, and I know if they include those, they're definitely going to improve on them. This was something I was really excited for, and I was not let down when it came out finally this year. So that's my number one game of 2018. My list, just running back down it, is number 5, Far Cry 5, number 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, number 3, God of War, number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and number 1, Spider-Man, Insomniac's Spider-Man. for PS4. Oh, I didn't mention any of the systems these are on. These are all like Xbox One, PS4, PC, a lot of that stuff. All right, Julie, what's your number one?
My number one is God of War.
Fuck
We
yes.
talked about it already, but yeah, I don't. It's just easily. I mean, I don't want to reiterate everything you've already said.
Yeah, I mean, if you got any more points to add, why it was your number one? Like, why it beat out everything else?
I was just really addicted to it, and I love stories that like actually capture me or whatever. And I couldn't stop playing it, and it was beautiful, and I love the characters, and everything about it was amazing. And
keep going. Sorry,
I don't know.
I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, you're fine. I don't know. It was just amazing, and it's like easily one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
I like seriously. I think I cried too.
Yeah,
so.
God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Spider-Man, I think, are some of the best games.
And I just love like finding out like twists and everything in the game. I was like, oh my god.
I forgot to mention the Valkyries. Like, there was a good amount in that game of like post-story gameplay, like so getting through all the Valkyries were tough, and you had to really change your gameplay style for each of them.
I had to put the last Valkyrie on easy because I couldn't beat it no matter what I did.
Yeah, it's just
other than that, honestly,
I remember I hadn't encountered one yet, and I think you had like messaged us, and you were like, "Have you guys found Valkyrie yet?" Because it was like,
oh yeah, I was,
and then I finally got to it, and I was like,
yeah, Valkyrie is probably one of the hardest things I've had to play against in a video game in a while.
They're like the Dark Souls of God of War. But no, it's like it really felt like that game's boss battles were just amazing. And they felt epic.
So much fun.
Their scale was great, and there was like random boss battles you could encounter, like weird dragons, the Valkyries, that weren't even part of the story.
Dragons.
That was fun.
I should also mention I took like 10,000 screenshots of the
that
game.
And Spider-Man for me too.
Yeah, because it's just literally every like no matter what's like where you were at in the game, it was like screenshot worthy, which is insane. I was like, oh my god,
like oil painting.
Like, it was so pretty.
Yeah, the Valkyries definitely felt like they had some story added it. And like I said, aside from the last one where I definitely had to put it on easy because I've probably fought the last Valkyrie like almost like over 30 times and I still couldn't beat her. And there were times where I got so close, but otherwise Valkyries are kind of like one of those boss battles where it's just like, I know what what you did wrong, so you kind of go back, change it, kind of get used to fighting patterns. And
also the I forgot to mention this, but like that one world, I think it was like Muspelheim.
Oh, I forget the names.
Where it was like a bunch of different like wave, like challenge combat games that you had to play through. That was really, really fun to go through, and like you couldn't get hit for like a minute, or you can't get hit the whole time, otherwise you fail the whole mission. Like that kind of stuff. Was that the
that's the one with the mist.
Oh yeah.
Also just the character development. The development of the relationship between Kratos and Atreus was just like amazing.
I feel like I literally
cried.
Were my top three, not only because they were beautiful and they played really well, but also just because the voice acting and the stories were just amazing in all three of them.
If I recall, they what's the word? They hired the actor for Atreus first, or they.
Yeah, he's in mid-90s now. That movie
really?
He plays like the kid, like the main kid in that by not Seth Green, Jonah Hill. That movie.
But yeah, the kid who they had play Atreus, they hired him first, and then they hired the new voice Dawn of Kratos based on that kid's relationship with how he did within
a chemistry test.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
awesome.
Is that why the original Kratos didn't come back? Did they just
that was one of the reasons, but I think the other reason is because they just kind of wanted a gruffer Kratos, which made more sense.
But also kind of a more emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm being really honest. I couldn't imagine the old angry Kratos voicing
Zeus, Hades, come down and fight me.
I love just like kind of the I mean, I don't know, just the flashbacks to like
the old and the callbacks to the old games, like the big like trophy room, and
it's just interesting seeing like Kratos kind of not wanting his son to know.
Yeah,
it's like crazy.
Not try to spoil it, but there's this one point in the game where it's like a huge callback to the previous ones, and other reactions I've seen of people seeing that scene, they're like, fuck yeah. And they're like,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
With the
Yeah.
and it's interesting to see a character who was so proud of being a destroyer of worlds and stuff go to someone who doesn't even want to talk about it because he just can't anymore.
Like, because this Kratos is also a lot more kind of a deadpan snarker in a way too. Like, he's a lot more open to like sarcasm and kind of snarkiness. Because like one of my favorite scenes is like where he's finds some old Greek alcohol, and
it reminded me of Logan in a way, of like this old warrior who's kind of broken by the world
Worn
and
down.
just kind of wants to just do his own thing, but like he kind of gets pulled back into it.
You've done so much, you can't really just
Run
exist.
from it, yeah.
but this Kratos can definitely take and give a joke rather than just.
And the villains were pretty good too. I don't want to like go too in depth because it's kind of spoilery, but they were three-dimensional. They had motives that you can understand and history, shared histories with like Kratos and everything else.
And bouncing back to what was his name? The Goblin. There's a two of them.
Brock.
The dwarves.
Brock and
but the fact that they could make just like characters that
it's like Finley or something. Honestly,
the fact but the
and the
fact
head. We didn't even mention the head.
Oh my god, yeah.
Get up, brother. Get up. He would always say that when he died.
But yeah, I like that they could make just someone that you kind of go to like upgrade armor and everything, like be such an essential part of the story is like
Brock
awesome.
Was so hilarious. It's like.
And like I felt good like seeing these two brothers like interact with each other.
I know.
One's like a germaphobe and is always kind of all nice and polite, while the other one's just cursing. He's pretty much a Saren. He just gives zero craps about what's going on.
Polar opposites.
All right, JJ, what's your number one, man?
I go against what you kind of know me for, but Super Smash Brothers Ultimate is my number one.
How does that go against anything? I don't know.
Had to be on someone's list.
I was worried. I was like, shit, I put it on my honorable mentions because I thought it was going to pop up. But, oh yeah, what are your honorable mentions?
Oh, I guess I can. That's basically everything we've talked about that I didn't include on my list. So like I have, Assassin's Creed, Smash, Far Cry 5, Spider-Man, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. All of them that I...
Shadow of the Tomb Raider was fun, but I think it didn't...
I finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but it's not worthy of being my top. And the other ones I just didn't play enough, I think, for me to include it.
Yeah. I'm like that for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah. But yeah, this new Smash Bros. Is near and dear to my heart because it might not be known for like a story, but honestly kind of relates more to a real life experience for like... sophomore playing Smash 4 was pretty much how I made all my friends in college. And that's all we did in our apartment, and that's how we settled arguments, was settling it in Smash.
That's pretty smart, actually.
That does make sense.
And also I like Smash Ultimate because it finally made fucking Melee players shut the fuck up, because there's finally a better Smash. This is like the best Smash game.
It's got all of they literally just brought every character.
It's
every stage.
In the game.
You can put it in Omega, you can put it in Battlefield.
They're like, you know what? Just have it all.
It's the Avengers of video games. It's video games Infinity War, because now they have freaking Joker from Persona 5 showing up as DLC, and it's just like, who the hell would have thought that happened?
I like the Sakurai meme with the never ask me for anything ever again.
That's my favorite.
Because it's true. It's like exactly what everybody wanted. And I feel like the Waluigi meme became a thing because there was nothing else to fucking complain about with this game.
It's just a joke.
The only other running joke is that everybody freaking wants Goku in Smash, and one joke I keep thinking that'd be hilarious, and I could see Sakurai doing, is he's just like, you know what, guys, I'm finally gonna give you your Dragon Ball Z character, and then it just ends up being Vegeta or like Piccolo, anybody but Goku.
Fuck. It was, and I'm not like a huge Smash fan, but I am a fan of fighters, and I'm like super into this game. I played it nonstop for like the full weekend it came out.
I literally spent a day and a half unlocking all the characters, because I'll admit I'm not...
I can unlock. I don't know if I'll ever...
I've unlocked all the characters
have you?
So far.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not super good at it, but
you can use.
I'll admit the CPUs kicked my ass a bunch of
Here's a little
times.
tippy. After you unlock a character, if you just immediately exit out of the game and then come back in and just do another regular Smash and die immediately, it'll just line up another character and just keep doing that and that and that.
I was reading something about going back and changing the language and stuff, and I was like, that's a lot.
No, this one's way simpler, and it actually worked for me.
But
like,
exit, change the language, go back in.
I just played classic mode over and over.
I started like doing that exploit, and I actually stopped myself because I was like, honestly, like having to unlock the characters is motivating me to really play this game, and I don't want to ruin that. But I have unlocked the characters. I still want to play just as much. I'm
just not the best at the game. I kind of suck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the computers are a little stronger though than they used to be. Like I've seen that. People
but it feels cool to like kind of like train with a character and like feel good about. I would go in and like if I feel comfortable enough, I'll like kick the CPU up. I could like from like 5 to 7 or something, like 4 to 6, and feel good about it and be like, all right, I can take this guy on now. I feel like I'm competent enough with this character. But it's also a game where I had friends over yesterday who had never played a Smash game in their life or barely played, and we were all playing, and they still like kicked my butt because it's just such an easy game to like pick up and learn. But also, as JJ said earlier, what did you say with Dragon Ball Z? You said it's easy to learn but hard to master. Very similar with this. But
Smash is just one of those games
it's top for this year.
Because one of the best competitive players for Smash is Zero. He put out a bunch of videos for it, and he's kind of one of the people I strive to be, even though I suck at the game. But him and my friends are the ones that kind of made me take it seriously, and that's just that bonding experience with friends is the reason why this is number one. Because
that's what I was gonna say. It's one of those games that it's just fun to play with people.
Yeah.
Like if you're at anyone's house with a group of people, it's like play Smash.
And honestly,
it might ruin some friendships, but
But honestly, I'd say probably out of every 3 or maybe 4 gamers, if you just say Smash Bros or New Smash, they'll get some people's blood pumped, and they'll be like,
"Oh, okay."
Oh,
and look in your pants after that one, just to double check after saying Smash near a gamer.
jeez. I was like, I don't know where this is going.
It's honestly one of the biggest game series.
Gamers rise up. Gamers rise up when you say Smash. Anyway, those are our games of the year. My number 1, Spider-Man. Julie's number 1, God of War. JJ's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Thank you guys so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you guys.
For having both of you. I've wanted both of you to come on for a while, but just couldn't because of life and stuff, and that's understandable. It's good to have you on for such a good topic for both of you guys to weigh in on. Thank you, everybody who listened to this. Be sure to follow us on Podbean and Spotify and iTunes. Leave us a review on iTunes, preferably one with 5 stars. But hey, I can't tell you what to do.
Give them 5 stars.
That really helps. And just telling people about it and showing this to other people is our best way to really get out there and keep us motivated to keep doing it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at 10for10pod on there. We're on Facebook, so just like us, 10for10 podcast. We weirdly have a YouTube channel that I forgot about, so we're just like 10for10 podcast or something on there. I don't pay too much attention to it, so apologies. What else? I don't really know what we're going to do next. It's going to be Jess's list next. Be sure to follow Julie on all the socials and Kodama Cast on YouTube and right here on Podbean, but also soon on Spotify and iTunes and at Kodama Cast on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gamers, rise and grind. Let's
bye.
Thanks,
all right.
Guys.
Bye. Later. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Shrimp Queen Network.
Visit facebook.com/Shrimp Queen Network to see more great podcasts.
Hear them.
Hear more great podcasts.
Good job.
Thanks for listening.